Something important to tell you, Rahul said. Which is? Trisha asked softly, afraid to wake up her parents. I called to ask if we could bunk our tuition tomorrow as there is nothing important that is going to be taught. Miss Pereira will teach the basics of algebra, which you and I are both familiar with. I know. You are particular about classes, but could you please at least consider it for me? Tomorrow marks the completion of a month of us being friends, Rahul struggled with the word friends. Of course, I didn't realize we'd been friends for a month, Trisha said, emphasizing the word friends. Rahul stayed silent. He knew he'd have a reply to Trisha's remark. Tomorrow. So, where are we going? Trisha asked, breaking the silence. I don't have a place in mind. I just wanted to spend some time with you. Rahul lied. I am not bunking my class to go to a random hangout spot, Trisha replied, smiling inwardly but sounding stern. Okay, fine. It'll be someplace special. In fact, I am taking you to my favorite hangout spot, Rahul assured her. Trisha smiled and terminated the call. On any other occasion, Rahul would have called back to find out why Trisha had ended the call without a reply. But tonight, he knew she'd been too happy to respond. He knew it because he was so happy himself, so happy that he was sure he wouldn't sleep at all that night. The next day, when Rahul was getting ready to go for class, his mother questioned him, Rahul, where are you going at this hour? Wasn't your class cancelled? No, my class wasn't cancelled. Also, I have to submit some pending homework. Don't blame me if I don't, and this time, my tuition teacher calls you, Rahul said wryly. Rahul stood in front of the mirror debating what to wear. He finally decided to go with the black shirt he had got on his birthday. He preened himself. And after emptying the entire bottle of perfume, he left on his bicycle. His tuition classes were on the right. He took the left instead. He pedaled towards the park where he'd planned to meet Trisha. His feet pedaled with a joy he'd never experienced before. After parking his bike, he waited on a bench for Trisha. He'd given Trisha the address in the morning and she would be here any minute. One of the best things about Trisha was that she was punctual, unlike most other girls who made their boyfriends wait. Although Trisha and Rahul had not started a relationship yet, the thought made Rahul blush. First love is such a pure and blissful experience that the world around us transforms into a happy place. Love is a whole gamut of emotions that race through your heart, the butterflies in your stomach and the train of timid thoughts in your head, almost as if every little thing is in a conspiracy to keep the redness of your cheeks alive. Both Rahul and Trisha didn't need I love you to justify their bonding. In the last month, whatever time Rahul and Trisha had spent together, they had experienced a different dimension of life and they had come to love it. Rahul sat on the bench facing the lake in the park where he had asked Trisha to meet him. He did not have to wait long for her to arrive. Trisha came, wearing a bright blue dress that tapered at her waist and then flowed till her knees. As she sat next to him, he wished he could watch her without saying a word. So, it's been a month to our friendship, Rahul. Trisha was incorrigible. To me, you're more than a friend. You're the only person who has made me feel that I am worth loving, Rahul spoke softly. What about your parents? She asked innocently. My parents? Not really. My parents have always treated me like I was good for nothing. I am sure they won't even allow me to join the NCC. All they're worried about is my schoolwork so that I can get a job in a good company. You got selected for the NCC and they wouldn't allow it? Rahul nodded. After a pregnant silence, Rahul spoke, so, I was saying that. You make me feel special. And I want to thank you for that, Trisha. Rahul leaned closer to Trisha and kissed her on her cheek. She looked down. Shyly, not knowing what to do. Am I allowed to do that? Rahul asked. She smiled and nodded softly. Rahul kissed her cheek again. She could sense his lips moving towards hers, so she withdrew nervously. Her hands felt clammy and her cheeks were on fire. But he seemed anxious to feel her lips against his. He wrapped his arms around her waist, pulled her towards him and gently touched his lips against hers. This time, she let him and they kissed for a while before she pulled away. My first kiss, Rahul beamed and Trisha smiled nervously. That was my first too and it was beautiful, Trisha said to herself. They sat in silence together. Trisha rested her head against his shoulder. This was turning out to be the best day of Rahul's life, until he heard the sound of someone falling on the ground. He was shocked to see his elder brother, Karan, who'd probably slipped on the grass. As soon as Karan understood that he'd been noticed, he picked himself up from the ground and hurried towards his bicycle. Trisha could not understand what was happening. All she knew was that Rahul looked shocked to see someone. After Rahul regained his senses, he spoke, I am really sorry, Trisha, but I'll have to leave right away. Who was that? My elder brother, Karan. I am really sorry but I have to run. Bye. He apologized to Trisha for leaving and rushed towards Karan, who was already out of the park. The chase on the bicycles intensified until they stopped at the red signal, but it became serious when Rahul intentionally crashed his cycle into Karan's. Rahul balanced himself and cycled forward. But a motorcycle ran over Karan's leg after he'd slipped. Karan was admitted to the hospital immediately. Rahul felt responsible for the entire incident. Karan, who had a fractured leg, didn't reveal anything to their parents. Rahul had left Trisha in haste and severely injured his brother. Some days start beautiful and end ugly, Rahul thought. Trisha was embarrassed about the whole incident. Rahul's elder brother had caught them kissing, and she could not bring herself to talk to Rahul. While Karan had almost veered after a week, Rahul's love life failed to recover even days later. Trisha, listen to me, at least. You aren't even giving me a chance to speak. Rahul was walking behind Trisha, after class, trying to talk to her. Trisha turned around to face Rahul, folded her arms and said, What do you want to talk about? What happened was not my fault. Why are you behaving like this? Rahul, I am not saying that any of it was your fault. It's just that I don't feel like talking right now. Leave me alone for some time. Also, can you please stop calling me on my landline? My parents are getting suspicious of the blank calls. Before long, they'll put a caller ID on it. Trisha had a tone of detachment in her voice. Trisha's silence was suffocating Rahul. Especially because he could not understand what he had done wrong. He dreaded losing the only person who believed in him. He couldn't eat because eating had become a mere act of swallowing. He either slept for a full day or did not sleep at all. He tried talking to Trisha multiple times, but she always gave him the same indifferent response and walked away. Sandy tried to help by talking to Trisha but his attempts to resolve their tiff also failed. Even after 3 weeks, she was adamant about her decision to keep her distance. Why don't you write her a letter? She doesn't want to talk, but at least she can read what you have to say. I will hand it over to her, Sandy suggested. And since Rahul knew no other way of reaching out to her, he decided to give it a try. He prayed that it would work. Love can make a person do things he would never have contemplated doing before. A boy who couldn't write an essay for an English examination was writing an apology letter to woo his beloved. Rahul tried to pen his thoughts on a piece of paper. He tried to express what he'd always felt for Trisha. At times, he would imagine her response after reading a line he'd written. By the time he was finished, he was sure the letter would convince her of his feelings. He handed the letter to Sandy. Sandy, in turn, gave it to Trisha, who showed little interest as she threw the envelope in her bag and left. After reaching home, she locked her room and retrieved the letter from the bag with a smile playing on her lips. Her plan had worked. She had wanted Rahul to express his feelings for her, and she knew that the only way to get him to speak was to pretend that she was upset. She giggled, although a part of her felt bad for worrying him for such a long time. It is true when people say that it is impossible to read what's going on in a girl's mind. She slowly began to read the letter. I can't tell you how sorry I am for what happened. I didn't know that the most beautiful moment I'd shared with a girl would be destroyed in a jiffy. Karan had a fractured leg because of me. He is still recovering. I am sorry for leaving you alone like that. Will you forgive me one last time, Trisha? Life is a scary place without you by my side. Let's put one bad incident behind us and carry the warmth of each other's presence forward. Will you be my girlfriend? Please take your time to reply and remember that I love you. Trisha had tears in her eyes. Once she was done reading, she gave Rahul 3 brief missed calls on his landline. Rahul, who'd been waiting by the phone all day, jumped up in excitement. He waited for the 4th ring with his heart pounding in his chest. When the phone rang again, he picked it up immediately. Let's meet somewhere and talk, Trisha said promptly. Did you read the letter? Of course I did. That's why I called you. Let's meet on Monday after school. Will you buy me a gift to apologize? Trisha smiled. Thank you for calling, Trisha. You don't know how happy you've made me. Let's meet at the same place in the park on Monday. No more troubles. I promise. And yes, I will get you the cutest gift. Okay, then. See you on Monday, Trisha said, and one more thing. Rahul. Yes, Trisha. I love you too, Trisha hurriedly cut the phone. Rahul couldn't stop smiling for the rest of the day. He wanted to buy something special for Trisha, but that month, he had forgotten to ask for his pocket money. Since Monday was only a day away, and on Sunday most markets were closed, he had to purchase the gift by tonight. He ran to his mother's room to ask her for some pocket money, but when he got there, he remembered that she'd gone shopping. He was about to leave disappointed when he noticed an envelope sticking out of a drawer. He opened it to discover a bundle of cash inside it. Rahul only needed some of it. He decided to take the required amount and leave the rest. Then, after purchasing a gift for Trisha, he would ask his mother for his pocket money, which he could use to replace the money in the envelope. This way, he would have done nothing wrong. He was about to take some of the cash when his mother announced her arrival in the drawing room. Afraid, Rahul quickly took the envelope with all the cash to his room. He kept it in his remark notebook that he kept in his bag and went downstairs to greet his Mom. He prayed that his mother wouldn't need the money soon. Later in the day, he purchased a small gift from a gift shop near his house. In his excitement, he forgot to put the envelope back in the drawer. On Sunday morning after studying for an hour, he got up and went to the kitchen, fixed himself something to eat and sat on the recliner to watch TV, where he fought with Karen about which movie to watch. Suddenly, they heard their mother shout from her room and everyone rushed to find all the files and folders scattered on the bed. Somebody has stolen the envelope containing 5,000 rupees. I am sure I'd kept the envelope in this drawer, and now it isn't here, his mother said, pointing to a drawer of the almirah. She was clearly distressed. The color drained from Rahul's face. Mr. Rana asked her to remember where she'd kept it, but she was sure she'd put it in the drawer. For the next couple of hours, Rahul's mother couldn't think of anything else and kept sobbing over it. Mr. Rana tried to placate her, but to no effect. Karen was busy studying, but Rahul became a little restless. He started anxiously pacing about his room. What's wrong? I have been observing you for the past hour. Did you get a remark again at school? Rahul's father inquired. When Rahul shook his head, he was ordered to get his remark notebook. Rahul tried to convince his father that nothing of the sort had happened, but failed. With a heavy heart, he walked towards the corner of his bedroom where he had kept his bag. Unzipping it, he retrieved his remark notebook. He wanted to conceal the envelope elsewhere, but his father was standing behind him, with his eyes glued on Rahul. He finally handed the notebook to his father. When his father discovered the missing envelope between the pages of the notebook, Rahul was thrashed severely. In his anger, his father ordered him to leave the house, and that really upset Rahul. He cried for hours, locked inside his room. In the evening, he called Sandy and narrated the entire episode, still trying to control his tears. Rahul, will you follow my suggestion? Sandy said. Rahul stayed silent. I think it's best that you leave. Your parents will never accept you for who you are. So, live life the way you want to live. You don't have to tell anyone. Not even me about where you are going. Just prove to your family that you're not a failure. Rahul was too defeated to object to a voice that sounded reasonable. He could not find a reason to stay either. An immature mind was giving life advice, ignorant of the world outside, and another immature mind was captivated by the idea. Rahul wrote a letter to his parents before packing a few essentials in his backpack and leaving the house. As he was leaving, he thought of his mom, his dad, Karen, and Sandy. But he mostly thought of Trisha and how disappointed she would be when she didn't find Rahul in the park. This was definitely not the surprise he'd hoped to give her. He had to erase people from his memory. The toughest face to forget would be Trisha's, the girl on the Ladybird bicycle, and, even as his eyes welled up with tears, the memory of her face made him smile wistfully. Chapter 8. Present Day. Highway Cafe. So, you did not meet Trisha again? Asked Rashi, who'd been listening to the entire story intently. Never, but before leaving, I left the gift at the place where we had decided to meet, Rahul confessed. I am sorry to say this, Rahul, but you behaved rather immaturely, leaving your house on a silly suggestion from a friend, and then after all that, you didn't bother to meet Trisha, leaving her clueless about what could have happened to you, Rashi stated. I don't want to dwell on what happened in the past. All I can say is that had I met Trisha, it would have been impossible for me to leave. She was my only weakness and my sole reason to stay back. To avoid that situation, I simply decided to leave without informing her, Rahul said pensively. Then, suddenly remembering his current predicament, he added, "The only reason I decided to tell you about it was because you considered the knowledge of my past important in order to be able to find Akriti." It had been hours since Akriti had gone missing. "What about your friend, Sandy? Where is he now?" Rashi asked. "I have no idea. We didn't contact each other after that day. Without mobile phones, it was impossible to stay in touch." Rashi was tracing circles on the table with the tip of her index finger, lost in thought. Rahul was plagued with thoughts of Akriti. He'd hoped his story would help them find her, but looking at Rashi's deadpan face, his hope was slowly disappearing. "What's the matter?" Rahul finally asked. "I don't know whether you'll believe what I am about to say next," Rashi replied. "Go on, tell me." Rahul was more worried than curious. "How many years have you and Akriti been together?" "It's been a while now." "A year, maybe." "What's the matter?" Rahul asked, sounding puzzled. "A year is not long enough to know much about your girlfriend," Rashi speculated. "What are you trying to say?" Rahul's curiosity had heightened. "Officer Rahul, we suspect that your girlfriend, Akriti, is a spy," Rashi declared. "She was here to steal confidential information from the INA. Which is why she pretended to be your girlfriend for a year," she continued. Rahul's jaw dropped upon hearing this. Then he felt his anger rise. "Are you out of your mind? I am not going to put up with baseless allegations against Akriti," he said. "Officer Rahul, I request you not to be guided by your emotions. The RAN has sufficient proof that Akriti is a national threat. Since Akriti was transferring confidential information from the INA, we were ordered to not disclose our involvement in the mission to the INA," Rashi tried to make Rahul understand. "You're saying that Akriti helped organize an attack in her own house? Or was the RAN involved in this, as well?" Rahul said scornfully. "No. RAN was not involved in the attack. There is no doubt that somebody wants Akriti murdered. Probably because of the information she is carrying. We were spying on Akriti even on the day the attack took place. We were about to catch the assailants and interrogate them about Akriti and what they wanted from her when you and your friend arrived on the scene, and we had to abandon our plan. The INA team is good for nothing but upsetting the apple cart. You people interrupted an effective plan. The government should take note that the RAN is better at handling critical operations than the INA," Rashi spoke with derision. "Are you trying to create a power struggle between RAN and INA? The government need not take note, as they know who's better than whom. Also, we are not here to discuss who's superior. A girl goes missing in broad daylight, and all you're concerned about is who is better handling missions. If RAN can handle critical situations, why are you incapable of doing anything after hours of knowing that she is missing? All we are doing is clearing up the mess your team has created, as always," Rashi said, trying to avoid Rahul's question. "Anyway, I think your girlfriend has either fled out of fear of being suspected or she has been held captive by the assailants. I have already informed the team and they put all the exit points on alert," Rashi continued. "Pretty story," Rahul exclaimed, "but do you have the proof against my girlfriend with you now?" Rashi shook her head. "Unfortunately not. But I can bring some evidence tomorrow if that will convince you of the legitimacy of my accusations. Then I guess we'll meet tomorrow." You have my number, Rahul said. Getting up to leave, and if your allegations against my girlfriend turn out to be false, Officer Rashi, you'll be sorry for this. Rahul left the building with several thoughts racing through his head. He was trying to convince himself that Akriti was being framed for a crime she did not commit. In the time he'd come to know her and love her, he'd never once suspected there was anything wrong. She had never shown such signs, and how could she bluff an intelligence officer? He wanted to be convinced of her innocence, but her absence was disturbing. He wished there was a way he could find her. Then, he was reminded of the confidence with which Rashi had spoken about Akriti's identity, and a number of questions began forming in his head. What was the information that Akriti had wanted to get hold of? Where was she from and what were her intentions? Who had wanted to attack her in her house? Did she really choose Rahul as her target? How was his past related to her recent disappearance? What information had Rashi obtained to prove that Akriti was a spy? Who was the missing link that she was trying to find, and did she truly believe that his past would help them find Akriti? In this gamut of uncertainties, Rahul knew only one thing for certain: if Akriti was a spy, as Rashi had alleged, he could never proudly call himself an intelligence officer again. On his way back to Mumbai, Rahul called Nirav to inform him about everything Rashi had told him. Nirav expressed the same shock Rahul had. How's that possible? I can't imagine Akriti is a spy even in my wildest dreams. I can't either, but she seemed so sure about it, Rahul said. Do you trust this girl, Rashi? I don't know. She said she would bring proof tomorrow to turn her allegations into claims. She'd suggested calling you and asking you to track Akriti's location. Did you find anything? The team is working on it. They'll share the details with us soon. Didn't you find anyone suspicious on the scene where Akriti went missing? No such person. I interrogated several people but they knew nothing. Anyway, I am returning to Mumbai. I'll meet you once I get there, Rahul said. Sure, Nirav replied. As he rolled down the windows, Rahul took out a cigarette and lit it as he drove on the national highway. The music was turned off so he could feel the whistling sound of the breeze as the speedometer touched 100. Cold tears ran down his face. He stared at the road ahead of him. His helplessness distressed him. All of a sudden, the sound of a continuous beep caught his attention. At first, it felt so distant he thought he was hallucinating, but the sound did not die down. He closed the windows to get a better idea of where the sound was coming from. He checked that all the doors were shut properly. But that beep was unfamiliar and did not stop. He looked at the back seat of the car but found nothing. It was only when he opened the glove compartment that the intensity of the sound increased. After rifling through a couple of diaries, he finally located the source of the sound. Inside the glove compartment was a time bomb on which the timer blinked. 7 minutes. Rahul had 7 minutes to save his life. First Akriti and now me. This seems to be a planned attack. Who could be behind all this planning? Could Akriti be involved? He shook the thoughts away. Not knowing what to do, Rahul immediately dialed Rashi's number. You are early, Rahul. I can only get the evidence tomorrow, Rashi said. Rashi, listen to me. There is a bomb in my car. Can you hear me? It's a time bomb that will explode in the next 6.5 minutes. What? This must have been Akriti's doing. Rahul was afraid to admit that the thought had occurred to him as well. The best thing to do right now is to leave your car in some isolated area. And run. Just do that, Rahul. Rahul disconnected the call and took a sharp left off the highway onto the barren land around it. His car bumped on the uneven surface, but he did not lower the speed. Once he'd found a suitable area, he stopped the car, opened the door and started running away from the car. Boom. After a couple of minutes, the car exploded and he turned to see it going up in flames. He was shell-shocked but breathed a sigh of relief as he thought of his narrow escape. He kept staring at the car, and as a crowd began forming around the site of the accident, he informed the INA about it, so that the accident did not become news. The incident made Rahul wonder whether the INA had been right in trying to protect Akriti, or was it the RAN that was right in trying to trace her true identity? The next day, Rahul's misgivings were put to an end when Rashi showed both Rahul and Nirav Akriti's original passport. I hope you got your answer, Mr. Rahul. This is a Pakistani passport, Rashi said, handing them the passport. Both Rahul and Nirav examined it carefully. The passport contained her original name, Afsana Nabi. They could not trust their eyes. Rashi had proved that Akriti's only motive was to leak information, and marrying Rahul was not on her agenda. I don't know what to say, Rahul said gravely. Nirav called the team to try and find out Akriti's location, but it was changing continuously and they needed more time to get accurate information. You have to say something. First, everything that is happening is somehow linked with your past, and second, Akriti aka Afsana is not your lover but a spy. Now, what's the link that connects your past with Akriti's disappearance? The questions that remain unanswered are, who planted the bomb in your car, and who tried to attack Akriti in her house? Were they the same people? When Akriti was here to leak information, she could have easily done that by marrying you, but she fled before the ceremony. Why would she do that? Or if she didn't flee and has been taken captive, then who is behind this? Was she here working as a developer to decode some information that only you could access? She could have achieved the same outcome by marrying you, but I think we are missing the link that connects your past with your present. The story is hidden there. I still can't believe what is happening, Rahul was perplexed. Mr. Rahul, are you still defending her? Are you refusing to believe that a spy can easily pretend to be your girlfriend to deceive you? Rashi said sternly. When Rahul didn't say anything, Rashi spoke to him. Let's go over the details of your past again, Rahul. Let's talk about how you met Akriti. I don't know how my story with Trisha helped you, and I don't know how this will help either. Trust me. I did not suspect a thing when I was with her. I even stayed at her place as a paid guest, Rahul told Rashi. Look, Rahul, while there's still time before your team responds with the information about Akriti's location and we are all idle here, why don't you enlighten us? Rashi smiled cunningly. Rahul could not think of any other way to find out what had really happened to Akriti. He knew Rashi was as clever as she looked, and he had little choice but to submit to her requests. She had brought everything that was needed to prove Akriti's guilt. He, on the other hand, did not know who to believe, the woman who sat facing him and had just shown him evidence of Akriti's deceit, or his heart, which still insisted that Akriti might be innocent. He looked at Nirav, who also looked helpless, and signaled Rahul to proceed. Rahul's life had come to a point where he might have to choose between his nation and his love. He had never, in his wildest dreams, imagined this could happen to him. He loved his nation ardently. But he couldn't bring himself to deny the fact that he equally loved Akriti. Akriti, what have you done? Have you really played me like a puppet all this time to get what you wanted? Did you never feel anything towards me? Were you playing a charade all this time? Could you have gone to the extent of planting a bomb in order to get me killed? Are moments the ones we spent in each other's embrace, did they mean nothing to you? Are you really somebody else altogether? Rahul was afraid to know the answers to these questions. Chapter 9. Sometimes we know things we aren't glad to have known, we see things that aren't meant to be seen, sometimes things aren't what they seem. Sometimes we need someone to call our own, especially in times when we're alone. To fill the absence of someone gone. We did not know it hurt until we met pain. Sometimes the hard thing and the right thing are the same. When you leave the comfort of your home for an unknown destination, the journey is unending and overwhelming. Rahul knew that it wouldn't be easy to survive without a family, but existence was different from surviving. Many people did not survive, they simply existed without a purpose. Without his education, he was just a 14-year-old lad who could be hired either as a laborer or as a delivery boy. He did both simultaneously. To make ends meet, he would attempt to throw newspapers in the balconies of houses, but more often than not, they would end up in the gutters and he would slap his head. Most nights he was hungry when he went to sleep, and he considered returning home, but he knew he would not be welcome. His parents did try to search for him for some time, they even lodged a complaint, but missing children were not found that easily. After months of searching, there was no trace of Rahul. His mother was worried to death. She kept regretting her misunderstanding with Rahul. She blamed herself for his absence. If only she could see Rahul again, she would beg for forgiveness and ask him to return. Eventually, his family lost all hope of ever finding him again. Rahul washed dishes in dingy restaurants on anonymous lanes, and from the meager payment he received, he would eat his food in those very restaurants in different utensils, of course. Every morning he would wonder what kept him going, and as each day passed, he realized he'd spent too much time away from home to consider returning. His meager income kept him away from school for the most part. However, life had taught him what school could not have. One day, when he was working as a laborer in an ice cream factory, the owner took notice of him. Despite his worn-out pants and patched shirt, he still looked like he didn't belong there. The owner approached him and said, "How long have you been working here?" "I work on a daily basis, sir. When I can't find work elsewhere, I help here. The manager pays me accordingly," Rahul answered politely. "Don't you go to school?" "My parents are too poor to afford schooling, sir," Rahul lied. The owner was a Gujarati businessman, and a careless lie was not enough to convince him. "You seem to be from a good family. Did you run away from home?" Rahul's face lost its color. He was too scared to return to his family, who would still be spewing with rage. He could live the rest of his life doing menial jobs, but he could not imagine being handed over to his family. In response to the owner's question, Rahul vehemently shook his head. "You can tell me the truth, son," the owner coaxed him. Sensing Rahul's discomfort, he made him sit in his cabin and offered him an ice cream, which Rahul politely refused. There was kindness in the owner's eyes that made Rahul believe he could confide in him. Something about his behavior indicated that he was not curious but concerned. When Rahul had told him his story, the owner expressed sorrow over his situation. He suggested that Rahul return to his worried family, but Rahul refused to go back. Taking pity, the owner offered to take Rahul to his house. Rahul did not take his words seriously. It was only when the owner brought him to his house and introduced Rahul as a brother to his son, Nirav, that Rahul believed him. Rahul began attending the same school as Nirav and sat in the same class, although he was a few years older than Nirav. With time, Rahul and Nirav became best friends, and when Rahul missed his family, it was Nirav who consoled him. Whenever Rahul felt down in the dumps, Nirav would tell him, "There are phases when we feel unsure and lost. But uncertainty is a part of everyone's life, so don't avoid it. Instead, take a deep breath and move forward. Soon, things will get better. Things are bound to get better. You'll be okay even if you don't feel okay now. It's okay to not feel happy all the time, Rahul." At times, Rahul would marvel at Nirav's kindness. Then looking at his father, the Gujarati businessman who'd decided to adopt him, he knew where it came from. Each night he thanked God for the gift of a new family. After completing school, both Rahul and Nirav shifted to Delhi, where they studied at the university in different colleges. In due course, both Rahul and Nirav had cleared their grade 2 examination and completed their training as intelligence officers. "Papa, Ma, if there is God on earth, it has to be you. I don't have enough words to thank you. My whole life wouldn't be enough to express my gratitude. When I was in school, I was selected for the NCC, but my father did not allow me to go. He must have had his reasons and it is not my place to judge his decision, but my dreams had remained unfulfilled all these years until I met you. Today, after becoming an intelligence officer, I can lead the life I have always wanted to live, and this is all owing to your kindness. You happily took my struggles as your own, and accepted me for the undisciplined boy I was. I am so blessed to have parents like you and a supportive brother like Nirav," Rahul said with tears in his eyes, on the day he'd earned his qualification. He hugged them and sought their blessings. That day he also missed his real family. He wished they knew about his achievement. How proud would they be? Every struggle in Rahul's life had shaped him into the person he was, and he thanked the hard times that had made him stronger. Later that day, as they were traveling on their first mission, Rahul tried to tease his brother, Nirav, who'd also become an intelligence officer. "So, what's your take on marriage, love marriage or arranged marriage?" Rahul asked casually to pass time during the tiresome train journey. Getting a girl itself is a task, marriage is, by far, the last stop on this train. We cleared our college from Delhi University and still stayed single. Do you think we can ever find a girl who would be suitable for us? Nirav grinned. That's also true. But I think we will. Maybe we will meet someone during our training, Rahul winked. Rahul, on a serious note, would you go back to your parents in Mumbai before getting married, whenever that may be? Nirav spoke after recollecting a thought that they had discussed some time back. "K. So, you still remember, right?" "Yes, I remember you telling me once that you would want to at least go and meet them in order to seek their blessings," Nirav smiled. "To be honest, Nirav, I haven't really thought about it. I was so young when I left that life behind. But sometimes I think I should at least visit them. However, I am not sure. I don't know whether they will accept me or not, and how would I justify the years I went missing? Such thoughts prevent me from going back. No doubt I still miss them, but there are many people in your life that you miss but can't be with. Aren't there? So, you remember that was the thing I told you when we were young, in order to help you move on from your school love. What was her name? Trisha, right. Nirav was impressed with Rahul for having remembered his words. Yes. Lucky you. At least, you have stories. And here I am, in my mid-20s. Still waiting for my first kiss to happen. Nirav made a joke about himself. And Rahul couldn't control his laughter. A wave of nostalgia swept over Rahul. Trisha was the chapter of his life that had been the most difficult to forget. She had been his one true love and also his first. In his early days of struggle, he would often remember her smile. It would make him want to run back to her and see it for real. In order to avoid that, he had decided to completely efface her from his memory, as difficult as that had been. He had had no option but to move on. A few months later, Rahul and Nirav had emerged successfully from many critical missions. They had solved the most difficult cases with relative ease. Rahul was known for solving critical cases with a calm demeanor, and Nirav was praised for his efficiency. One of their missions was based in Chandigarh. The duo took a train from Hazrat Nizamuddin. They were curious because they had been given no prior information about the mission. On reaching Chandigarh, director Rajiv Jain welcomed them in a secluded building that had been transformed into a temporary office. And without wasting much time, informed them about the mission. Boys, you are in Chandigarh for a high-profile operation. Tusk has been handed over to the INA, and since you are two of the best officers, I want you to take charge of it. Sure, sir, Nirav responded. What makes Tusk even more important is the intensity of it. Reputations and integrity are at stake. Sources have revealed slight evidence of RAN's parallel participation in the mission. It does not matter to the Ministry of Defense whether they get their information from INA or RAN, all they're bothered about are the results. But for us, it is a matter of pride, so we have to deliver our best. Is that clear? Yes, sir, Rahul replied. The aim of Tusk is to get hold of a spy from Pakistan. The man is in India and is believed to be seeing the daughter of Major Tana, who resides in Chandigarh. Rahul, I want you to confirm the identity of the target and keep an eye on all his activities, as well as the people he meets and interacts with. Nirav, you will monitor Tusk and take care of any needs that may arise during the execution. Our mission is not just to get hold of the man, but also to understand the depth of his intentions, the director explained. How do I get access to the man? Rahul asked. You will stay as a paid guest at Major Tana's house. The Major has put up an advertisement for the same, and we have already arranged your arrival by submitting your documents. Since his daughter is seeing our target, I suggest it would be easier if you gained access to him through her. Take care not to reveal your identity to the Major or his family. Don't worry, sir. We will catch the spy in no time, assured Rahul. Any questions? The director asked. What's the name of Major Tana's daughter, sir? Rahul asked. Akriti Tana, he informed them and added, these are the mobile phones and numbers that you would use. All the best. That would be all, sir, Rahul said. Both Rahul and Nirav thanked the director and took their leave. Not fair. You are getting to stay close to a girl while I get to work behind the scenes. Your first interaction with a girl other than your childhood crush, Isn't it? Nirav laughed when they were alone. Doesn't matter, Rahul replied seriously. The daughter of a major and an intelligence officer is quite a match. What if you end up leaking? Gee her. Nirav teased. That, my friend, said Rahul, is a rare possibility. The next morning, Rahul, along with his belongings, reached the address given to him by the director. Every house on the street looked similar. When he finally reached a building with a matching house number, he was surprised to see no nameplate next to it. He looked around to see if he could confirm the address, but there was no one on the street, except for a few vendors selling fruit and vegetables. Then he noticed someone on the terrace of the house and shouted, "Excuse me." The girl turned to look down at him but said nothing. "Is this Mr. Tanna's house? Number 512, he asked. "No," the girl replied. "But it's written 512 here." Rahul checked the number again on the wall beside the entrance. "Then why are you asking?" the girl said and left, leaving Rahul dazed. Rahul assumed this was Akriti. In no time, a middle-aged woman opened the door. "Are you looking for someone?" she asked. "Yes, is this Mr. Tanna's house?" "I am Rahul," he said, adjusting the weight of his bag on his shoulder. Yes, you are the guy who was interested in the PG offer? You spoke to me on the telephone, right?" Mrs. Tanna inquired. Rahul replied in the affirmative. "I hope your journey was fine?" Mrs. Tanna asked. "Absolutely, Auntie." Mrs. Tanna welcomed him inside and showed him his room on the top floor of the two-story house they lived in. After they had finished the formalities, and Rahul had handed over the rent for the first month, Mrs. Tanna asked him to come down to eat after freshening up. "And also remember the rules of the house: no girls, no liquor. If you are found with any one of these, don't make excuses, simply leave the house. Got it?" Mrs. Tanna gave orders like the wife of an army major. "Yes, Auntie. Don't worry. I don't drink." Mrs. Tanna left, and after unpacking his luggage and freshening up, Rahul went to take a look at the terrace. Akriti was seated on the terrace, reading a book. Rahul noticed how beautiful she looked even from a distance, her auburn hair glistening in the sunlight. He tried to shake his thoughts away and walked to where Akriti was sitting. "Hi, I am Rahul," he introduced himself to her. So, she glanced up from the book she was reading to take a look at him. "So, what's your name?" Rahul asked, despite her nonchalance. She did not respond and continued reading her book, indifferent to his presence. "At least you can tell me your name," Rahul said. "Akriti," she said without looking up. "See, it wasn't that difficult, Akriti," Rahul said, moving back towards the staircase. "Whatever," Akriti shouted back. That night after dinner, Rahul went to the terrace for some fresh air. He was standing by the scaffolding when he heard Akriti shouting at someone on the phone. She had a beer in one hand and her phone in the other. She was seated in a corner, so Rahul hadn't noticed her when he came. The moment he saw her, he couldn't help but stare. She looked ravishing in a black top and denim shorts. He was consciously pushing his feelings away, knowing he was on a mission. "Do you know that you are the son of an ass?" "No, I'm not insulting you, I'm just describing you. Your ancestors must be cacti, because you're a prick. Trust me, if I had a face like yours, I'd sue my parents. Your birth certificate is an apology letter from the condom factory." Rahul was as intrigued as he was amused on hearing Akriti speak under the spell of alcohol, although he doubted if she was any different in her sober state. He preferred to wait until the conversation ended rather than interrupt her. "How dare you cheat on me? I am going to make your life hell. I was so blinded by love that I agreed to get into a relationship with a shithead like you. You're so ugly that if your parents had dropped you at school, they would have been fined for throwing garbage. Now when I look back, I think I should have flushed you down the toilet because that's where you deserve to be. I wish there was some vaccine against people like you ugly disease. You are like a fucking Monday. No one likes you." She paused for a moment before starting again. "Of course I am speaking like a lunatic, otherwise how would you understand me? Now, get lost and don't you dare call me again." She disconnected the call and looked behind to see Rahul standing there. Furious, she asked, "What the hell are you doing her?" "I ran out of fingers trying to count the insults you hurled at your boyfriend," Rahul mocked her. "Ex-boyfriend, we broke up yesterday," Akriti corrected him. "Of course. Why were you shouting at him, if I may ask?" Rahul said, taking the beer from her. "If you were eavesdropping, you would have heard the reason. That bastard dared to cheat on me. From the beginning, my friends and family knew the shithole was up to no good, and they had warned me, time and again. However, every single time I brought up my concerns to him, he pushed them away and said that he loved me more than anyone could. That bastard. He swore his loyalty to me on every occasion. Until yesterday. When I found him with someone else," Akriti fumed. Rahul nodded sympathetically. "And on top of that, he had the guts to invite me to a party tomorrow," Akriti continued. "So, why don't you attend the party with another guy just to make him feel jealous?" "That would be very vindictive," Rahul suggested. "Who'll go out with me?" she said in a dejected tone. "That's for you to find out," Rahul said. He was about to leave when Akriti stopped him. "How about you come along with me?" "Me? Are you sure? You're too drunk to be taken seriously," Rahul was taken aback. "Come on, you are handsome. I want my ex to die of jealousy." Akriti had a hint of naughtiness in her eyes. "Okay, so where do we have to go and at what time?" "The party is at Cottage Cafe at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow," Akriti informed him. After she had left, Rahul dialed a number and spoke into the phone. "I am meeting the target at a party tomorrow. I will send you the location." This spy, thanks to Lady Drama, would be an easy catch, Rahul thought. Rahul had insisted that they reach the cafe at 7:30 p.m. After much opposition from Akriti, who insisted the party wouldn't start before 8:30 p.m., they finally agreed to arrive at the cafe at 8 p.m. "Where's your boyfriend?" Rahul asked, looking around. "He isn't here yet. If he were here, we'd know. He is a loud drinker. I'm telling you, that guy is so dumb, he thinks Cheerios are donut seeds." Akriti laughed as they sat at the bar counter taking their pints. "Why were you dating such a guy in the first place?" Rahul asked, his eyes fixed on the entrance. "Maybe because I wanted to improve my sense of humor by abusing that donut head." Akriti laughed. "Cheers." "Cheers to your breakup," Rahul raised his glass. "Do you have a girlfriend?" Akriti asked curiously. "Are you hitting on me?" Rahul tried to sound playful. "No, I am curious." "I am sure you have one." Akriti slowly picked up the bottle and touched it to her lips in anticipation of his answer. "One is an understatement." "Oh, I like that." Akriti sealed her lips, nodding her head.